Good morning. 8-1, we're going to be, Module 8 is all about area, and the first lesson is going to be parallelograms. So first off, maybe what's a parallelogram? Well, a square is a parallelogram, a rectangle is a parallelogram, but really a parallelogram just has to have opposite sides are parallel. So most often a parallelogram is drawn sort of like that, where this side would be parallel to that side and this side's parallel to that side. That's a parallelogram. So today, when we try to figure out the area, we're going to decompose the parallelogram into a rectangle and find its area that way, then use a formula. So decompose means to break apart. And a formula is where we can start using our algebra. We can substitute the values of the variables and then use our algebra and order of operations to solve. So first example is going to be decomposing this parallelogram. So first, let's find some measurements here because it's on grid paper, which is super handy. What's the base? And this is a base, and this is the base. Or this could be a base and this could be a base. But because the way the lines are, let's consider this the base. And let's see how long it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 10 units. And the height in these cases is where the bases would be intersected by a line at 90 degrees. Misty, that's a lot of stuff, I know. But if we drew a line between them and that line hit both of those lines at 90 degrees, that's called the height. Okay, and the height in this case is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we'll use these in a minute here, but let's then look down here at how they've drawn this parallelogram. So see how they've taken the parallelogram and at this vertex or corner, they've drawn a line straight down to the base at 90 degrees. Then if you take this triangle and scooch it over to here, you end up with a rectangle. So they took that triangle, scooched it over, and now it looks like this. And now most of you remember how to find the area of a rectangle. It's length times width. Hint, length times width is really base times height. Okay, so let's see what this length times width is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the height, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, you mean same as we got before? Mm-hmm. And so the area of the rectangle then is 10 times 5, which is 50. And so an area of a parallelogram is base times height. You find the height by drawing a line between the bases that meet at 90 degrees. That's the height. Okay? So let's go over here and give it a try. Identify, let's see, Romilla is painting a replica of the national flag of the Trinidad and Tobago for a research project. Find the area of the black stripe. So this, we need to know how much it is, probably so we can figure out how much paint we need. So it looks like the height would be 30 because this side is 30. And if we were to draw a line straight down from that vertex where it would meet the base, if the base were continued out, that'd be 90 degrees. So this is our height. And that makes this our base. And the area of a parallelogram is equal to base times height. And now we can substitute what we know. The base is 6.75 and the height is 30. And we multiply those together. 6.75 times 30, 202.5, and inches times inches is inches squared. 202.5 coincidentally equals 202 1/2. It's the same amount. All right, let's stay on this page and look at this car and see if we can figure out the area of this parking space. Let's say this person has a personalized parking space and they want to maybe paint their whole space pink to match their car. So we'd have to find the base. Oh, here's the base. Okay, because it's parallel to that, and this must be the height because it would be where that corner meets the base at 90 degrees. So the height is 18. So if area equals base times height, big hint for you, write the formula all the time. Write it. until you are super good at this, not this year, but after this year, just write the formula, and it helps to get it stuck in your head and yourself can remember it even when you think you have forgotten it. So write the formula, then substitute what you know. Do we know the area? No. Do we know the base? Yes. 9 1/4 is 9.25 feet, and 18 feet is 18 feet, and then we multiply them. 9.25 times 18 is 166.5. And feet times feet is feet squared. I think you're going to be pretty good at this one. I want to show you, let's see, maybe 2 more things before I turn you loose. First one is sometimes they're going to give you the area, but they want to know the other measurement. But because you're so good at writing the formula and knowing our algebra skills, we can do that. If area equals base times height, do we know the area? Yeah, A. Area equals 96 yards squared. Do we know the base? No, because see how they have the base here as just a B. Do we know the height? 8 yards. And now we have something equals B times something. So we got to do this inverse operation. Remember the inverse operations from last chapter? So we divide by what we've been multiplying by. 8 divided by 8 is 1, and 1 times B is B. And 96 divided 8 is 13, 12? What do you think? 96 divided 8, 12. But what's my units? Well, we had yards times yards, yards squared, and we divided by one of the yards, so we're left with the other yard. That means the base is 12 yards. Okay, let's see if we could do one more. Here we're going to be given a parallelogram that needs to be, well, there's going to be photos put in it, and then it's going to be painted. Okay, this is going to be a photo, and the whole thing's going to be painted. And we have to figure out how much paint is needed, but we don't want to paint over the photo. And this photo, the square photo that has an area of 0.25 square feet, this photo is 0.25 square feet. Okay, we don't want to paint that. So let's think about this. If we find the area of this whole thing and take away that area, we'll be left with just the area of the shaded part. Okay, so let's write all that out. We know the area is equal to base times height, right, for a parallelogram, but then we're going to subtract the 0.25 for the photo. Now, do we know anything? Do we know the area? No. Do we know the base? This one. Or is it this one? Well, which one's being intersected by a 90-degree line? This one, because that must be the height, because you see how it hits at 90 degrees. So our base is 3.6. Our height then is 3.19. And we're still going to subtract 25 hundredths. Cool. But because see how we wrote it all out? Then we just substituted the value of the variables, and now we just have to follow the order of operations. 3.6 times 3.19 is 11.484, and then we're going to subtract our 0.25, and we're going to get 11.234 feet squared. And that's how much needs to be painted. All right, you should have enough to get going. Good luck.